Hello, and welcome to the stream. If you missed the last stream, be sure to check that out on YouTube. But to summarize, we created a stat view with a little animation for the logo, and I'll show you that in just a moment. But today, we're going to be making some minor adjustments to that screen. And then we'll move on to creating a graphic for, I think, the loading screen. Something like a planet. At the moment, it's just a solid circle placeholder. And then if we still have some time after that, we'll move on to the main menu, the mode selection, and each challenge within that. Should be good. Should be quite fun. Bit of Photoshop. A little bit of coding later, like I say, if there's time for it. Probably will be. You never know with creative things when you trying to make something look good. It can take a long time. So we'll take a look at the screen from the other day. So no reversal animation, and then tap to continue. Now I don't like the tap to continue. I want to make that a button again, like the original design. I think I just liked the way the button was a more solid color rather than... I like tap to continue if it was just text, if it was just white, but we'll give it a try with the button again. Probably make it bigger than what was in the original design. Although you can click anywhere on the screen and it will continue, even with that button. And then this is the screen that we'll be working on later. And the loading screen, you may have missed it, but it was just there. We'll do a quick play of the game, see what times we can get real quickly. Or if we can even land in the box. Oof, not too bad, but not under 8. I like to get under 8 on this one. Give it a shot on the second one. That was terrible. I mean, we'll finish anyway. 9 seconds. Really bad. This one's a tricky one. No, I've overshot it. I've way overshot it. We'll give it another try. Much better. Come on. Oh, I accelerated just a little bit too soon. One more try. One more try. Nah, too difficult for me. I'm just a noob. Last one that we've got here. Now I really like this one. Not too bad. Braked a little bit too soon. Not under 8 again. Disappointing. Maybe tomorrow. Alright, so that was the loading screen. So at the moment it's just a circle representing a planet and a little triangle that was supposed to be a crater sticking out of the side of the planet. They were, gonna have more in there as well, but that was the idea. And then there's a little rover that drives around it. The graphics sucks. I just wanted to make the animation. So let's get into Unity. Let's do 1024. I don't think it's gonna need to be bigger than that. Where is it? There it is. 1024. 1024. Now we will actually need to make that a bit smaller as... There you go. As we do want the crater sticking out the side. Now, I'm not entirely sure what I want this to look like yet. I haven't really thought about it, so we're just gonna mess around and see what we can do here. So I'm gonna get this way to be underneath. We'll make this a mask. Ah yes, I'll need to actually draw more of it first. Okay, we'll just make this bigger. Now it's on a dark screen, which has got a hint of blue in it. I kind of like purples. Purple and reds maybe. Purple and green can look very cool if done right. Don't know if it'll fit in this game though. We've got blues. Maybe we go with the blue, the classic blue that we use elsewhere. I'll just get that colour from somewhere. It's that blue there. Yeah. I just want to swipe across like it's a stripy planet. Some greys in there. And we'll just get a darker tone. Let's see, merge that all together, do some kind of maybe radial blur. Doesn't really matter, we'll just wing this. Completely wing it. Oops. Wrong type of blur. That one's quite nice. Alright, so it's quite a subtle thing now. And then let's see if we can poorly draw a what do you call it? Like a crater sticking out from the side. So we want this to be a lot smaller. Just go with a hash for now. And then we'll go with blue again, but like a darker version. We'll draw one of these to begin with. That's actually quite nice. I'm using a mouse for this, by the way, so not a legit artist. Yeah, that's not half bad. Let's call this in. Yeah, this was the one. The paint bucket. Put it underneath that. Do it like a there. That tone's not too bad. Do a darker tone on top, which we can do here. And then we'll go back to this one, and we'll grab the blur. We'll just try and blend this in somehow. So it's still got a bit of color, but it's... Oh, maybe it was smudge I wanted. Yeah, smudge. Way too big. Just wanted it to kind of... Some interesting blurry mess. Let's go right back up. Just wanted a little bit. Alright. Get a few of these. It's pretty good. Let's save that and just have a look what that looks like in the app. Creative user interface. I'll just call it here loading planet icon. That's wrong view, loading view. Here we go. So this planet has a circle, and we want our actual new planet, which we call loading planet. We need to make that sprite before we can use it. So we know it's 1024. I'm gonna bother with compression yet. I'll worry about that later. It's 4 meg, but I do like to do a sweep much later on in the process and check all the graphics, which you can get. I don't do it like one by one for the project view. There's a editor log when you build that gives you all the file sizes of all the resources, and I'll look at it in order of file size and see what I can do then. So no big worry now. So let's add it in here. There it is. Just get rid of that because I don't think it does anything. And let's play it and see what happens. It's a little small. Shall we increase it in here? I do wish that my PC loaded a bit slower, so I had more time to watch it go. That would be more ideal. Yeah, I quite like that. Let's just look one more time. Yeah, for now that's a lot better than what we had before. It's at least something. I might even get some glow pulsing behind it as well. But I did just realize we skipped one task before. We said we were going to do some adjustments to the welcome view, we called it. So we're going to change this text back to being a button. Actually, we'll keep that. Now, there's one really interesting story about this. It cost me 12 hours, almost 12 hours yesterday, of trying to fix the build on Android and Windows. It silently crashed, so no errors whatsoever, which, you know, can be a big pain, and it was. I had no idea what the problem could have been. It'd been a little bit too long before I last built, so I'd done a fair few things. In the end, I slowly deleted every feature out my game one by one, and then the last feature was the thing that caused the problem, or at least looked like it. So then I put all the features back in and slowly deleted all the assets and the features in reverse order this time, and found that, you know, that it still crashed and it wasn't that feature at all. So it wasn't depending on any of my features, so to speak anyway. In the end, long story short, it was that I, for a previous stream, imported the UI toolkit for an editor tool. And that editor tool, that UI toolkit package, which is in preview, so fair enough, contains TextMesh Pro within the package, not as a dependency, but actually within it, as I think something called Text Core, which is basically TextMesh Pro. It looks like they've just renamed it and renamed a few different assets as to try and integrate it into the core engine, the editor, I guess, because this UI toolkit is probably going to end up being the main way you make editor UI. It's the UI that most of the editor stuff is built in now anyway, and it's going to be runtime as well for us to use. Well, anyway, that conversion to include that text core within that package has led to conflicting with the TextMesh Pro package I already had in my project, and I don't know the specifics, but basically duplications in the output build in the resources. And the error that I did see in the beginning but disappeared very quickly was that the resources package was corrupt, which is typically caused by names of files being the same, which suggests duplication or just poor naming. But yeah, 12 hours later I find that out and got the build, and yeah, made no progress in the game, but capable of building again now. So what a pain. I want that color there. That's the one. And then I want that text to be in there. Scale that right down. Make it white. I don't want it to say tap to continue, I want it just to say start. I want that font to be a bit bigger, 65? Nope, bigger than that. Let's give this a look. I've been watching a lot of Star Trek recently. I'm very tempted, as this is a space game, to write the words engage there. Although that won't be very clear to users. Let me just Google the definition of engage. Become involved in? We'll do it for now. A bit of fun. Might have to change that later. Engage. Shame you can't do the engage. Is it too much blue? Too much blue everywhere? Maybe. I think the dark strokes on the craters blends too much in with the back. Looks great here when you got a white and checkered backdrop, but I have no idea what this is gonna look like if it was white or off-white. Somewhere around there. We'll give it a try just in case. I'll paste it on each layer now. Am I missing one? Where's the original? Oh, group 1. Of course. This one. Just give this a try now. It's clearer. You can see it now, but this is the better place. Still, I hate this display. It needs something else. It's like this flat but a little bit detailed design. It's not quite there yet. Should we have a quick research sesh? Wow, very detailed. Not really what I'm looking for. Also not what I'm looking for. Nope. So that's really nice. I went with a more blurry look. I guess I could just use the magic wand. Or the magic wand would be kind of gross. The go away. The pen tool. This is way nicer. And it's got the halo, which I did plan on doing too. Yeah. Alright, for now we'll keep this. I'll make a halo right now for it in a different one. Come on. 1024. Wow, completely off. 1024 by 1024. And we'll probably have to make this a bit smaller. Hopefully that'll be fine. Give us a hello in the chat if you're new and I don't know. Didn't have a second part to that. Just if you're new. Let me know you're there. That's actually a pretty good color. It could probably be lighter though, but we'll blur the hell out of this with. Sure. I didn't blur it at all. There we go. That's what I meant to do. I don't know if that other type of blur will do much for us here. No. If it needs to not be completely symmetrical in all ways for that to have any effect. Let's just get this blur in here. Is this music a little bit too heavy? Let's go a little bit more chill. Yeah, this will do. Loading view. Blur. Now we'll have to make this a sprite again. So because I can't get it behind it but also be a part of it. Oh, because it's symmetrical, I actually wouldn't need to make it a part of it. I can just put it outside. So just put it there. Just scale this up so we can actually see. See if that's any nicer. Engage. Oh. Interesting. What happened? Hopefully this is not gonna scale weird. Yeah, much better. Alright. Progress. Progress. Oh, it doesn't actually... Ah, we do... Okay, we do want it as a part of this. So what I'm going to do is... I'm going to duplicate that view, delete its contents. I'm going to call that planet. I'm going to call this planet container. And remove the image from planet container. And then I'm going to put the blur under the planet. So the planet container is the thing that actually gets animated, so that blur will be included. It will scale up with the planet. Yeah, there we go. Well, granted, I kind of would want it to be a little bit behind it, actually. It would probably look a bit nicer. Yeah, I actually don't like that. I changed my mind. We'll keep it in there, but let's open up this view and serialize that object. We've got planet blur. Yes. And then, so this is our animation for transition in. Probably don't need to care about what happens with the transition out. It looks like it just moves it off screen, which, because it's a child of, it will move off screen with it. But we want, during this scale animation here, oh, that's a sequence. Do the scale and then add the fade. That's weird. Let me just watch it back, make sure I understand what's happening. Oh, it's fading the vehicle. Right, that makes sense. I need to combine these animations because it needs to be on it in animation, and then that one as well. Come on, format, thank you. Because at the same time now as this scale here, in fact, let's just duplicate the whole line. And this needs to be paralleled. Nailed it. Paralleled animation, but needs to be on the planet blur, and needs to be significantly longer in my opinion. Although actually too significant, and you're watching the animation for too long, so don't want to do that. Fade in and scale, and then this uses the planet fade in and scale. Now, actually, transition in. That just adds them both, so why not just? Oh yeah, guess this is a parallel. This happened at the same time. I actually didn't know about this, but I had an inkling it would exist. I don't actually know how it works. Is it like this? No. Let's have a look. So, animation sequence, this collection, and then an action, configure function, then a new sequence animation, and then the function that adds it. Ugh. Ugh. Why wouldn't I just add the like this then? If that was the, I'd like to see an example of someone's intentions of that. To be honest, the name sucks, but we'll see how it looks first before we start trying to refactor this. Oh, I played too early. We haven't assigned the blur. There we go. Whoops. Blur scale. Planet blur dot trans. Oh, sorry, direct transform dot scale, local scale, and then we want to go not to 1 but the actual local scale. I don't want to bounce. We'll just sign out. With it having the sign on it, we might be able to reduce the time as well and it still look good as it slows down towards the end of the animation. Yeah. Oh, that's loads better. Okay. Much happier with that. Alright, loading screen are done for now. Or should we attempt this again? No, I don't feel that creative today. I just wanted to get enough to make it look less placeholdery. Just save this PSD so I can ever edit in the future. Not as a PDF. Whoops, that was the course one. PSD. There we go. Interesting that just saved it as okay, so this isn't the PSD, but this PSD is saved. I lied, it's over here. Voice catches me off guard. The pop-ups go on the other screen for some reason. Probably because it's set to display one over there. Right, Photoshop out. Let's do the complicated home view. So we'll take a quick look and I'll explain what I want to do. So this is the home view, and we've got our different modes on the left. Practice is going to be named something else. It's not practice. I don't know what it is yet, but it's not practice. It's more like arcade. It's probably a better word for it. So we'll go with arcade for that at some point. These images will be swapped out as well. They were just quick ones. I like the colors. Don't like the screenshots. And obviously the game's not complete, so it's not final art either. I don't like the way the contrast of the images and the text is in license and campaign. Need to figure out how to make that a bit nicer. Might be able to just get the text a bit smaller and put like a black almost 60% transparent image behind it. And then this is a grid view. I don't like grid views, but I thought it might work here, but I changed my mind. So instead of having class A1, class A2, class A3, class A4, and then maybe the next line would be class B1, class B2, etc. I think we're going to remove all the text from it. Oh, actually, everything but the numbers on the end here. And those numbers won't even come from the data scriptable object file that we have. This will come from just the index, I think, rather than anything. Oh, index plus 1, so it's just start at 0. And we'll have class A written on the outside. So we can't achieve this with a grid view. It looks stupid. It wouldn't work. We need to change this to a vertical layout group. And then have a prefab that is the title, and then have another prefab that is the container for these elements here, and that can be I don't want to say grid view, probably a horizontal layout group as well. And for every 4 that we have to add, we'll just create another horizontal layout group instead of trying to manage that as a grid. We'll manage it as like layers going across like this, and we'll just make a new layer every time. We get way more control then. Grid views seem so unadvanced compared to the vertical or horizontal layout groups, which ironically is the class name, literally the class name they used for those components, always the abstract base class for those components, which I think is hilarious. But let's start that now then. So we want to find the license option controller. So this is our class that populates the elements in there. And then we want to find the home view and just take a look what we have in that home view. Here it is. So we have our tabs on the left, which are here. We got options on the right, which is there. Okay. So this is our options view. It's got a grid layer on it, and we're just gonna remove that grid layer. And we're gonna make it a vertical, horizontal layout group. I'm not gonna worry about content size fitting on it. I don't want this to be a scrolling area. I think it'll look weird with all this padding around it. I might have pagination here at the bottom. There's a little bit of a gap there. Like, or if it does scroll, it would be left and right, not vertical, I think. And it would snap. I don't like that free scroll wheel type thing. It'll snap to each one. Or maybe little arrows that would you tap and it would move across. We'll see. We'll come up with that later. I care more about how this area looks more than how you navigate it at the moment. So we've got a vertical layout group. Don't want any padding. For now, we don't want any spacing. That might just be included in our elements rather than here. We don't want to force anything there. So we want to make another. Oh, that's the wrong thing. I wanted Text Mesh Pro. Despite the problem it caused me, I still love it. Let's make it 128 high. I'll make it. I don't know what the width is here. I mean, I can just say flex to the full size, which it absolutely did not just do. Oh, why bother? Oh, it can't flex because I just don't want to do that. Maybe we force the width actually, because we do always want it to be, which it literally isn't doing. Come on, control channel. There we go. There we go. So let's get this vertically aligned to the center, and then just get a nicer font in there. Quick send. I probably should write up some kind of documentation for what fonts should be used in what case, because at the moment I literally just wing it for when I think it's needed. Oh, my back is aching today. Right, and we'll put a. Oh, I'm not allowed to put an offset because I said force it. We don't need an offset. You can't even tell. I was thinking it in terms of this box here, but you don't know there's a box there. It's a big open space. I do want it to be bigger though. And this would say something like class A. And then we'll have those boxes that we saw before, which won't look like that, but there'll be boxes there at least. Is that too small? No, I don't think so. So we'll call this. What we're gonna call this? Is the gain okay on this? Yeah, I think so. Make it a bit louder. How's that? Yep, much better, I think. Oh, could be better. There we go. Let's go like this. Apologies for changing the volume midstream. Speaking of midstream, should we check how my tweet's doing? Not too much attention. Okay, so this is the, we'll call it license class element. We want to make a prefab out of this, and it's going to be in resources as well, so we can just load that at runtime. Yeah, that's what I want. Yeah, license. Oh, but it's in the home, so it should be here. License class element. And this is the actual element, so I'm just going to rename that to challenge element, because that's more specific with what I call these things. Can't flex, so I do want to. Why do those settings look different to like just the other day? And what does it mean? Overflow, ellipsis rather, masking, truncate, scroll rect, page. I don't know these features. We'll have to look those up at some point. Linked. Very confused. But overflow, despite being set as overflow originally, wasn't overflowing. Now is overflowing. Oh. So we want to find where we... Oh, it'll be on the home view or home state. Home state. Yes. Home view options container. License options. That's where we want to go. So here, we just hard loaded it for now. I was just trying to get it working, so let's actually do this properly and go to our main behavior resource defines, and we're in the home. We got our view, and ironically I already had this here, I just didn't use it for some reason. Oh, I use it here. Oh, this isn't the element. This is the data that holds all the license challenges. Maybe I should have called that challenges. I might rename that. So we have one of these. I did just rename this to license challenge element, and we want license class element. And we'll rename these appropriately. And since this one's been used, I'll just use the refactor so it updates everywhere. License challenge element. To be honest, we're in the license area, so let's just call it challenge element. And this one will also fix up to just be class element. Because the way we'll access this will be home. Oh, I lied. We're not in the license one. Let's undo that refactoring. Oof. Alright, put this back to... I didn't lie, I was just wrong. License element. License challenge element. See, licenses could have other things other than challenges in them yet. I don't know yet, but if it does, we've at least named things appropriately. Class and challenge, okay. And we'll access it. No reverse. Home view license challenge element. I'll need to figure out a way of separating this so it's multiple loops, so I can add the type link. But for now, we'll pretend everything is class A, and we'll just load that single element here, which I've said is a class with Alex, but really, do we really have to make a... Okay. Yeah, I think it actually does make sense. I'm trying to think ahead and think about what we might need in the future. And obviously right now, this is just some text, right? So why would I want a mono behavior on there which does the same job? With my system, I have something called hierarchy behavior, which makes things a lot easier to... I don't know why I'm trying to add one. I need to create one. Makes things a lot easier to create and manage modular objects like this. So I'm going to tie it into that, and I'm going to add some features. I'm going to add just the one feature to set text, which you might think, yeah, that's just as simple as a text component. But in future, we might want to have more data stored on this, or in fact, we will. Things that determine whether that the way this should look, depending on whether you've perhaps even unlocked that class yet. You still want to see what's available in the game, even if you haven't got there yet. So we would still want to display all of these classes, but it might be white or glowing or underlined, or you know, something different to the other ones if you're currently on that class, or if you've completed that class, or if you've not unlocked that class. So we will make this, and we'll make it under home, and we'll call it license class element with the same name as the prefab. And we'll rename this object here because we renamed the prefab as well. I like to keep my classes that are specific to those prefabs the same name. Makes it a lot easier to find. We'll call this challenge element as well. And we'll let it update the template as well. Although it did just... Oh, typo. Terrible. It just informed me that there was some serialization, so something's going to lose that. We'll see what the usage is. Okay, it's the old planet select, which I am going to delete when I'm a bit further in, so we should be fine, because we don't even load that, so there'll be no references stopping us. Let's change up this music again. We'll go with piano. I'm not listening to the chill piano yet. So that's the license challenge maybe. I'm just gonna copy that and put it in there. We don't actually want to do that. I don't think I'm allowed to put a string in there. I think that would confuse it. It confused me too, to be fair. We just want to initialize. No, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. It won't confuse me. I'll figure it out. Do we want that type of string? No. That's system string. So we want string and then class name. Or title, to be fair. We'll just go with title. And then this will have serialized field, text mesh pro GUI. We'll make it called title text. And then we'll do dot text equals title. Get this in the right namespace. What's going on here? No, that's supposed to be class. Class. Did I forget to change that? There we go. Class element. This doesn't sound like piano. I'm not gonna lie. It is set to the piano. Maybe it was just finishing up the last song. I don't know. This is piano. Okay. So I'm not entirely sure if this template of string will work from the API, but we'll give it a shot. And this is license class element. And then it'll initialize, and if I put something in, oops, didn't like it. String is not an assignable parameter due to that. That would be because I am an idiot and didn't update this yet. Class string. An element isn't allowed because it's named there. Class title. Oh, it's totally acceptable. That's awesome. So what we'll do is we'll put challenge data dot. Oh, it doesn't have the challenge data yet. Just put in a to-do to remind myself for each class, and then for each challenge. That should be enough to remember. We'll create it, we won't do anything with it, and then we'll create these in our next piece, which we don't have yet, but we'll create one for it. And it's going to be License challenge layout element. Hopefully that's enough to go off of what my intentions are with this, but it's the container basically for those for these license challenge elements. And I'll just create a new one of these every 4. It's not going to be that, it's going to be this and this, and it's not going to take anything, I don't believe. Yeah, nope, no, it doesn't need anything. We'll create that class now. Before we forget, we'll just add this class element on there, which takes a text mesh pro. Oops, too fast. Up. So I can go down but not up. Fantastic. Let's get rid of that. There to there. Save, exit. And then I want that home view back up. So there's that prefab, and we'll make our next one, which is called that, and we'll come back to that in a moment. I want that class open if you haven't opened it already. Get the right namespace, steal this class, make it a hierarchy behavior, implement the functions, format the class. Doesn't do anything, I believe, on initialize, but it is required, I believe, as part of the system. I'll double check that in a bit, but I think it's required. And if it isn't, then I will take that interface off. And then we want to do rect transform container. And then we want to make a function, a public function. There's 2 options here. I always come across this option because I build a lot of my UI in the same way. It's, do I make this function? Oh wow, it added the element. It knew what I wanted. I literally wrote add, started to finish the function, and in my head before I hit enter, or as I was hitting enter, I was like, oh, I actually want to call that add element, and I hit enter, and it auto named it add element. Sometimes Rider gets me, and sometimes it really doesn't, but this time it did. But this element is a challenge data. And then, so the options, like I say, is to add the challenge data in, create the element, and then there's something else we need here. Just realized. We'll come back to that. I'll finish my thought of what I'm saying. So we create the element, the UI view here, and then we apply this data to the elements in that view. So like the text or the image or whatever we gather from this model, this data here. Or you just simply create the element, don't accept the challenge data here. So this thing knows nothing of what a challenge data is, which, to be fair, might be okay, and then return that element instead. That's one thing you can do, which it would return this license element like this. What it does mean is that the code here is larger, but to be fair, this is the setup. It does make sense. I'm going to do it that way. I don't always do it that way, but this time I'm going to do it that way. And what we can do is we can actually get rid of this one, which is not going to be happy here, but that's okay, because what we're going to do is create the layout one here, license challenge layout, oh, class layout, class option challenge layout. I don't know, too many names for too many things. We'll do one of these, but we'll do it as the license challenge layout element. Doesn't initialize with anything. Then here we'll just do add element, which is now going to be named create because we're not adding it like that anymore. And that's going to be the element. You see, it's the same element it was before, but this guy's creating the element for us. Just have a drink of water. Delicious. Delicious water. So what have we missed? What are we not doing here? So we create a title, which we by default just name Kase for now. Challenge layout, we'll create that horizontal group, which we haven't visually made yet. And then for each of the challenge data, it'll add that, which coincidentally is the right amount for what I want. And then I said before we removed that line because we didn't need it, which is still true. License challenge element, this guy. And if we add the class we want here, layout element. I mean, for now, this is just the container. We'll see if that works. This, if we select it, we can break this prefab and remove it from here. Because it's just going to be here, right? So what we do is we serialize it. We have access to it. We call it a template. On initialize, sorry about that. Little camel case. On initialize, we wanted to say active false, so it goes invisible because it's just our template one. And then when it comes to this, creating one, we want to access the container and we want to create child, which is one of my hierarchy behavior extensions. And we just pop that one in. We do element, and actually we could probably just do return. Since we don't... Oh, we do have to do a little bit more to it, actually. That element equals this. What's wrong with it? Oh, it wants a reference. Not pleased about this. Okay. That's what you want. Planet view did this exact same thing right here. You know what? It should go here, right? Where we had it. So what one did have to exist. I was wrong, but it's a simplified version than what we had before. It's not a campaign element. It's a license challenge element. Doesn't take. Just look at the challenge data. It just might. I think it does, you know. It can't go here because it needs the object. Back we go. We'll go here. The license challenge data. Since we're importing that anyway, challenge data might as well go back in here. You can return the element, but it doesn't have to use it. We'll do it that way, and then. What's wrong now? Private. challenge element. We don't want a new challenge element. We want... That's not what this possibly said, was it? Oh, challenger. Ah, gross. Okay, okay. So my system's a little rough. We need to figure out some of these annoying paths and rethink how we can build them. But license challenge element reference, license challenge element reference, and then it's a new reference because it implements the corn behavior reference type. And then we want to put in our template here. Oh, no, we just want to use, because it wants the parent. Why can't I do any of that down here? Surely I can just do all of this. Like this. And initialize. As child. Container. Bolts. And then do assign it to that. New as child. Just one of those, no? Yeah, it should be one of these. I mean, could even just do one of these. Let's pick this apart. Okay, so I can make a new one of those. But I can't add a child. Oh, as child? As child, yeah. You can do as child. Okay, I think the problem is this container. It is a transform. Does as child not return the builder? It returns this type of builder. Seems fine to me. iBuilder. License challenge element. License challenge data. This object, which is a license challenge element. Whatever. Whatever. Right, we'll do that. We're no longer doing this. Going. License challenge element. Dot as child. Yeah, why didn't I do that actually? Let's do that up here. As child container false. And then here we do. Oh, won't that be a problem every time you set initialize? I've done that in the past, it must be fine, but... Oh, it just overwrites it? Oh, that's awesome, okay. I was wondering if it would stack up the initialize and then call it multiple times with each element, but it doesn't, it overrides, so... License element dot initialize. And then we want to do challenge data. And create it. And that's what we return. The created version. Nice and simple. So actually, the this guy doesn't have to do too much. It just needs to pass in the challenge data. And you can do these other things to it. Like I said, it still returns the guy, but as far as setting up the visuals, it's all in there. So that's the code probably done. There is one more thing actually that's not happening here. Because it was a template that existed in the prefab already, and we turned it off so it doesn't show. What are you? Oh, you're not created yet. There we go. So a bit of naming issues there, but it's solved now. So we set the builder to have this data as the initialization data. Then we tell it to create the element, which is returned here, and then we set it to true, so it's visible. And actually, that can happen in there too, because it's just a visual setup thing. So we can do that. And then we just add the listener to it, nice and simple. So here, now we actually want to create this to be a... We'll assign that, and then we want this to have a horizontal layout group. Oh, we didn't want to do that. Spacing, let's go with 32 for now. I'm not sure what that will look like. We also want it to... No, we don't. Oh, that's the wrong object. I was doing that. Let's get to... I want it to be... Yeah, upper left. What's going on here? Well, no, the height's not right, so let's get the height in 256. There we go, it was this. That's what I wanted. So this is supposed to be a prefab, right? We're prefabbing that down here. So it shouldn't be there by default. We're just using that as a base, and then if we hit play, we'll see how badly it breaks. Okay, not as badly as I thought, but it is oddly large, larger than it should have been. Perhaps it already had a scale on when I made it, and it's now set to 1 without me considering that. But there's a few bugs. We've got that one that ends up way over to the left. And then we've got this one. Oh, and it comes in really big, but it also ends up much bigger scale. But everything is alright, so what we'll do is we'll turn off the maximize and play so we can see it in the scene. Oh yeah, that's not right at all. Where are we? Here. So the scale came in massive for that. And it did here for this as well. So it's just a scaling issue. So I have a feeling that solves it, but we'll find out. Yeah, so it was trying to keep its world position and then adding it as a child underneath and then causing that skill to get blown right out of proportion. But now it's all good. And then we can go back to this. I just want to see this element and what we do. So I don't, like I said, I don't want to have the title in there anymore. I want to set an index value, or a +1 rather. Description I turned off anyway. Oh, it sets itself active. So I don't actually even need to do that in there. I don't actually like that that sets itself active. It's not really how I would want that. Challenge title. So for now, since literally none of that actually happens. For now. In fact, actually a model, a serialized model for the user will have to come in here. But for now, for visual purposes, we'll get this in here. Position, that's not right. Let's do... fine, we'll do position, but it's a bit meh. Honestly, planet select view. Anything regarding it? Disappear for now. No idea what a planet manager is. It does nothing. Oh, yeah, of course. It's not passing in the right things anymore. It's like that. And this is index. Index +1. And not reverse. Don't need you anymore. Oops. Don't need you anymore. This, I don't know if there's an easy way. Oh my god, there is. Nice. Let's just go with I. Wow, that's awesome. Wow, just send it straight to a for loop instead. Amazing. So, we want here, we want the title text or set text. I think there's a function, isn't there? We want it position, but type security, no. We want it position and a little full stop afterwards, I think. Engage. Almost perfect. So let's get the prefab for that. Yeah, element. So text for the title can be aligned to the left, can be made a lot smaller. 200. Yep. And then so let's give it a little padding, and that'll do for that one. And then we also want the class one. I think this text should be bigger. I changed my mind about it. And then we'll run that, and then the stream is coming to an end now as we completed some of this layout. Much better. Much better. So class A, number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. We'll probably make a graphic for a trophy tomorrow. Silver, bronze, and gold trophies, so you know what you've got. Maybe a place for the time as well, and perhaps get rid of entirely the button acquire, and have something else that indicates that that's what you're gonna click on to get into it. But that's today's work done. Thank you for watching, and bye for now.